What's going on, peeps? Titan Solo 3.0 is probably the most powerful of the three classes, and I'm saying that as a hunter main, by the way. You've probably seen hundreds of videos of the Hammer Titan build, but I decided to try something different, and ladies and gents, this thing is explosive. This build focuses on ad clearing via ignitions, extremely powerful for taking out big groups of combatants, utilising a combo of aspects, fragments, the Hellfire Heart exotic, and mods to give us infinite melee ability, and blow shit up. It's also set up for making a hot mess out of Overload champions, thanks to the seasonal mods, and we'll be covering everything throughout the video. Before we kick proceedings off, we're so close to 500 subscribers, please consider subscribing if you enjoyed the video, and leave a like for that YouTube algorithm. Right, let's get into the video. We are going to combine the following two aspects. The first being Consecration. Slide melee to launch a wave of fire energy that scorches targets, and as an alternate option, as you fall, launch a second wave that ignites scorched targets. For your second aspect, slap on Sol Invictus. Solo ability Final Blows create sunspots that scorch targets, regenerate your health and abilities. Combining these allows you to generate sunspots on proccing the melee ability. Then, to help us regain melee quicker, the Searing aspect will give you melee energy after killing scorched targets. So to recap, slide meleeing procs the Consecration aspect, which scorches targets, and as you come down and ignite, Searing will give you melee energy for each scorched combatant defeated, and spawn a sunspot. If there aren't many combatants whilst you're in midair, you can opt to just not ignite them, saving half of your melee energy, and more than likely the scorched targets will burn out. If you defeat more than 4 scorched targets from the ignition, if you do opt for it, your melee should insta-refund. On the subject of ignitions, we can throw on the Eruption Fragment, which essentially causes your ignitions to have an increased blast radius, making it easier to clear grouped up adds. Using this ability can be inconsistent, meaning it sometimes doesn't refund your full melee, but interacting with the Hellfire Heart exotic, you are nearly guaranteed to have infinite melee ability. Its sole function is to grant you increased ability regeneration when on a solo subclass, including your melee and grenade, which peaks when your super is available. The key to this is basically not using your super, allowing you to spam your melee ability as long as it's defeating targets. But Plasma, this sounds too aggressive. You will die a lot. Fear not. Not only does the sunspots you generate restore health, your base melee ability, throwing hammer on hitting combatants and picking it up, will grant restoration, and you also will be using a healing grenade. Using these abilities on the fly will grant restoration, not to be confused with recovery, meaning enemy fire won't interrupt regeneration. Then, with the Solace Fragment, the effects of restoration will be extended to 7 seconds, and the Empyrean Fragment will extend the duration of restoration on solo ability or weapon final blows. You will be basically blowing shit up whilst having constant health regeneration. This will allow for a very aggressive playstyle that will make you very difficult to kill. Right, we haven't discussed weapons so far. We are only going to cover one for this build, and you might know it as the Laser Tag Trace Rifle. Prometheus Lens is now a very solid option for PvE. Not only did it get a damage buff, it now scorches targets after continuously hitting combatants with it. Yes, this does interact with the Searing Fragment, meaning kills with the lens can grant melee energy. Pretty cool if you're asking me. This weapon is very useful in case you manage to whiff your melee. Trust me, I talk from experience. Moving on to mods, to make it even more certain of regaining our melee on Consecration kills, 2 melee Wellmaker mods are going to make you very popular Guardians. Throw that on alongside the Seeking Well mod, it does as the description says, and Bountiful Wells to allow the melee Wellmaker mods to stack, generating 3 wells on melee kill that track towards you and your allies. I had mentioned earlier on the video about melting Overload champions. See what I did there? Solo 3.0. Melting? Okay, never mind. Overload Trace Rifles will make Prometheus Lens able to stun Overload champions without breaking a sweat. Yes, I'm looking at you, Overload SMG. We will also be using Withering Heat to allow our solo melee to weaken champions, allowing you to do 30% more damage to them. And alongside this, the Revitalizing Blast mod, which, on stunning champions, causes a blast that takes a big chunk of health off of them and damages nearby enemies. I've purposely not added any other weapons to this build, allowing you to experiment with your kinetic and your heavy slot, depending on what content you're running and what burns are active, and you have more than enough with this to have a blast. Okay, enough of the puns. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the video. If you made it to the end, make sure to let me know in the comments. Feedback is always welcome, but as always, please keep it civil. Next up is probably going to be some PvP content. I've recently forged the Val Raid SMG, and oh boy does this thing slap. Some Crucible playbook content coming your way soon. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. This was Plasma Alchemist. Your viewership is much appreciated. Until next time.